Hi everyone, Marshall Wallace here, Alabama's awesomest music nerd, and it is time for a review of the new Skorpion Deathlok EP, Burning Hammer. Skorpion Deathlok is a heavy metal outfit hailing from Cherokee, Alabama. The group was formed by former high school classmates Dakota Copeland and Ethan Smith on guitar and bass respectively, and the group was rounded out by young drummer Joshua Talbert. The name of the group is of course a reference to the famed AEW wrestler Sting's submission hold, and I feel like that gives a good idea of what draws this trio together: metal and wrestling, which just so happen to work together really well. It's also worth noting that the members themselves are involved in every part of the making of their music, with Smith taking on an engineering and mixing type duty, and Copeland holding the pen that creates the band's eye-catching cover art. The trio released their debut single, Jackknife, in August of last year. Jackknife showed, if nothing else, that these guys were serious about metal music. From the sample of the truck starting to the drum fade in to the crunching riff, these guys just rocked their way through this one. It's a heck of a debut single, and everything that you'd expect and want from a fast-paced metal song. Fast verses where Copeland sings about traditional metal subjects: stabbing, bleeding, graves, casting oneself into the fire, and then the slow chorus riff where it just slows and crunches with half-time drums and heavy bass as Copeland's voice echoes the title, Jackknife! Whether lyrically it's conveying something other than what's explicitly said, or it's just as advertised, it's incredibly fun to just yell Jackknife. Their second single, Till Death Do Us Part, is by far their most lyrically driven song to this point. It opens with one of the more unique and yet groovy drum parts I've heard out of recent metal music. Former Deathlok drummer Elijah Thomas actually has a writing credit here. And then the speedy riff jumps in, and from this point, the lyrics take center stage. Copeland tells of a man who has, in every way, broken trust and turned his back on some very close people for some ill-gotten gains. A twisted love, a poisoned seed, your heart consumed by selfish greed. The walls of trust have crumbled down, the truth revealed, and you wear your crown till death do us part. The subject is not mentioned by name, but be assured, he knows exactly who he is. The drums carry the halftime parts incredibly well. I'd also like to point out the multi-tracked harmonies on the guitars between the second and third verses. Good stuff. If I had one qualm, it would be that I feel this song works better as a standalone single than within the context of the rest of the EP, and as such, I would highly suggest listening to the single first. Getting into the new releases on the EP, Burning Hammer is a little over a minute of pure, moshing, organized metal chaos. It bridges the singles with the latter tracks on the EP, and I feel like it's a very necessary addition to the track list. It may honestly be my favorite, purely in terms of heavy metal riffs, and on the project, it's definitely worth checking out Ethan Smith's bass in the mix. Staples of hard rock and metal music in terms of subject matter are, of course, war and aftermath. Iron Maiden's The Trooper, and probably the most well-known example, Metallica's One. We get Skorpion Deathlok's take on the subject in the penultimate song on this EP, Forgotten. Copeland again provides us with some well-thought-out lyricism. Get so drunk of alcohol, all alone, no one to call, coward on the battlefield, too scared to move, caught in feels. Really a perspective that I've only heard in music a few times, and this almost strikes me as a much darker metal interpretation of something like John Prine's '71 song Sam Stone. Musically, this is my favorite performance by the rhythm section. Tight, heavy drums and moments where the bass is able to take center stage and really drive in the deep-rooted agony and animosity that has become rooted in this poor veteran who, at the end of the song, eventually just drinks himself into a casket. Final song on this EP is called Overdose, and it's definitely the most weighted song on the project, though it definitely holds its length well, as the atmospheric, somewhat tense introduction leads us into the rest of the song. Fun fact, at about 1:09 into the song, you can hear the sound of a Zero Sugar White Monster being opened, caught by the overhead drum microphone. You can hear the band's influences almost whispering into the musicians' ears on this song. I can hear elements of Joey Jordison's drumming in Talbert's performance. Smith seems to carry the sensible, rhythmic playing of Metallica's Cliff Burton. And this track contains Copeland's best guitar playing on this entire project, conjuring up the fast rhythmic playing of James Hetfield. The lyrics rely on general words and feelings to drive home the theme, and the two verses almost paint a before and after picture. There is no dare program here. This is descriptive language about the happenings of an overdose, about something so incredibly inviting and necessary that the only thing to do is die. More so a cautionary tale than painting the glorification of drug use. This song carries that theme to the very end, where the striking mellow introduction returns, only for the force of the trio at their sludgiest and most intense to provide one final rush of adrenaline that just ends, same way an overdose would. Copeland has expressed on behalf of the band that this is their favorite song on the entire project. Overall, this is a fantastic first release, and it sets a template. First, you make your claim, then you present the evidence. The claim Skorpion Deathlok is making is that they are a force to be reckoned with and respected in the metal world. Their evidence? This EP is what we have now, and I highly look forward to what comes next. This comes directly from drummer Josh Talbert. The band and I worked really hard on this EP. Never would I have thought that we would have such an amazing EP come out, but this is only the beginning, as there is more to come. I'm feeling a decent 8 on this EP. Favorites are Burning Hammer, Forgotten, and Jackknife. Tell me what you thought. Tell Dakota and Ethan and Josh. Go support the band. It's not often that we come across real music from real people. Marshall Wallace, Skorpion Deathlok, Burning Hammer, forever.